fourth year coach. Mike Woodson at Indiana joins us here on the Eye on College Basketball Podcast. I'm, of course, Matt Norlander, and we're going to get rolling with this. And maybe you're not sick of it, but how sick are you of people asking about how good your three-point shooting is going to be? I mean, this seems to be the dominant storyline for Indiana heading into the season. It's got to be a genuine concern, right? But it feels like you've been peppered with this question by quite a bit.
It's always a concern.
Yeah.
But let me make it clear. I'm not dumbfounded to shooting threes. I mean, if you go back to my Knick team, we led the league in threes taken and made and was third in field goal percentage. And we were putting up 30 at that time, and the NBA now is putting up 40 to 45. So the game has changed. But you got to have players that can make them, too. And I think we've struggled in that area over the years that I've been here. We just haven't had enough guys to be able to take that many. But I think the fact that we've gone out into the portal this summer and revamped our whole team, we put ourselves in a different position now that maybe I can please some people about making threes and shooting them.
Yeah, listen, you're at one of the true high-pressure jobs. You knew that when you took it. You're very familiar, obviously, with what it means to be the coach in Indiana, what it means to live there, to be a part of that program. But for not just Indiana fans watching, but we've got a wide audience of college basketball fans across the country. Can you explain a little bit of what it's like to live day-to-day in charge of the program that Bob Knight ran for decades and has such this huge history that you're obviously a part of? But for you as a human being, what is it like to be in charge of the IU Hoosiers?
It's been my whole life. You think about it. I grew up in Indianapolis, watched Indiana University basketball, Purdue basketball, Notre Dame basketball, Indiana State, Butler. It goes on for days, the basketball part of it. But there's nothing like Indiana basketball. Expectations are always high. It was that way when I played for Coach Knight, and it hasn't changed. Our fan base is probably one of the best fan base in all of sports. And so I don't take that very lightly. I knew taking the job, there was a lot of work that came behind it. When I took over, they had made the tournament in, I think, 6 years, and we were able to get them in the first 2 years, and we had some slippage last year, which is unacceptable, I think. I take full responsibility of that. So that's why we had to go out and retool and revamp our team this summer to put ourselves in the best position possible moving forward this season.
Why the slippage? I want to get into your pickups in the portal, obviously, but now that we are removed, let's do one more look back. You said there was some slippage, obviously, and the fans are going to let you know about that, but you're as critical as anyone, I'm sure. What were the reasons for why you took an unexpected step back in year three?
Well, again, I don't call it a big step back. We didn't make the tournament. We won 19 games, and I don't really like talking about it, but, you're not going to win a lot of college basketball games without your starting point guard, who only played half the season. Xavier Johnson. But again, fans and the media outlet, they don't want to hear that. They want you to win, and I get that. But I'm a realist when it comes to basketball. I take responsibility of us not making the tournament. That's on me. And that's why, after the season, I had a long talk with all the players, and that I was going to go out and revamp our team and make sure that we put ourselves this season in the best position possible to win basketball games.
When you looked at how you were going to restock in the portal, what were the things that you put priorities on in terms of type of player, type of person, type of skill set? Did you have specific, very intentional targets, or was it more you and your staff coming together, hey, Mike, oh, by the way, this guy just hit the portal today, we might want to look at him, and then you kind of learn more about what they are before? I wonder how that kind of came to be and how
I
you
wish
it
it
out.
Was that easy. No, we sat down and we put the best group of players that Mike Woodson liked along with his staff, and we watched film. And once we came up with the players that we liked, that we thought fit what we were trying to get accomplished, meaning we needed better front court players, which, we got caught. We put Gabe Cupps in a bad position last year, just having one other point guard in Xavier Johnson. We converted Gallo last year, and he made a big jump from just an off guard to handling the basketball and making basketball plays for us. So we knew we had to address that, and we did, with Miles Rice, Kanan Carlisle, and then getting Bryson Tucker. We had to address some shooting. Getting Luke Goody has been a tremendous relief. We haven't played any games, but he's been everything that I thought he would be. Miles and Kanan can both make the long ball. Tucker's shown he can shoot the long ball. And we already have McKenzie, who shot it pretty well, and we get Gallo back to form, how he shot it 2 years ago at 40% clip. I think we address all of the shooting part. But we had to get better from a perimeter standpoint, especially out front. I think we addressed those issues.
You got Malik Renew, who's a really good player. Umar Ballo comes in, tremendously talented big man there. I believe in recent media availability here just a short while ago, you said you weren't sure how often they would play on the floor together. I've talked to a couple other coaches about that. They've got some viable big men and trying to play them. I talked with Kevin Willard, who's got a couple of good big men, and he's hoping to get maybe 15 shared minutes per game. You said you didn't know, which I completely respect. Do you not know because you don't know how well those two will play together, or do you not know because you need to see the rest of the chemistry with your team and how you want to run your lineups, and that's something that you will only truly know once you start facing opponents and seeing kind of what they give you and how you learn once you actually are in game play?
Well, right now we're still tinkering with different lineups. I know I can play two bigs together. I've done that in the past. Race Thompson, Trace Jackson Davis, Malik Ware.
Yeah.
I know that I can do that. I know Ballo and Malik can coexist without a doubt. I'm trying to break it up and do something a little bit differently. Then it's kind of how I played in New York a little bit. And Malik, I know, can play some five. We got LT, who can also play 5 for us, Haddon. So I really got a 3 big man rotation if I need to use that. So I got different ways to go, but I'm still in tinkering mode trying to figure it out. This summer I didn't experiment it with that much because I wanted these guys to kind of grow together and just kind of get to know each other on the floor. And it's been a nice transition now over into official practice to the point where now I can, mix and match. And we've been doing that a little bit, which is kind of nice.
If we dug into your playbook, how much of the stuff that you're utilizing, implementing, would draw upon all your years coaching in the professional ranks, and how much of it has been stuff that you've brought in or learned from or taken and gleaned from other college coaches? How much does it translate? I know some of that can be personnel-based, but I'm curious, with so much deep experience at the NBA level, how much of that you can truly take and put in with a bunch of anywhere from 18 to 22, 23-year-olds?
I've changed a lot over the years, and my coaches think I'm like a mad scientist, they call me, because I'm always trying to find ways from an offensive standpoint to score the basketball. And there are things that I've brought from the NBA. There are things that I've taken from college and just kind of flipped it and twisted it a little bit to kind of fit my personnel and what we have. But I'm always looking to make changes. The three-point deal has always been on my mind because I've been there.
Yeah.
And I've done that. But I would be foolish with Trace Jackson Davis and that team to jack up 33s when you're not making them, and you don't have the personnel to make them. To me, it's a waste of possession when I can probably punch it inside or run a pick and roll and get a dunk or something for Trace. So, I have changed. I will change some this year based on personnel, but a lot of it is personnel driven as well too, in terms of style of play and the things that you do. Because I think I can do a lot of things with this team based on what I have.
It's an 18-team league. It's very deep. It's to be determined on just how deep, but I think in the unofficial preseason media poll, Purdue was the pick to win the league. I know you haven't seen all the other teams. You don't know all their personnel, but do you think that you have the best team in the Big Ten with what you have right here? Do you think you're a very good coach at the highest levels? You know what you have. You know there's more to grow. Don't know.
Because I would never say that we have the best team. You still got to play the games.
Yeah.
And you guys, you predict, who's going to win the Big Ten, who's could possibly win the national title. I don't know how you do that, but you still got to play the games.
Right.
And when I look at the 18 teams that are in the Big Ten, they all well coached. The talent level is off the charts. You got to be on your A game. Each and every night you step out on that floor to win at a high level. So it's wide open.
Wide open. Now, with the amount of investment from the behalf of Indiana fans, does it benefit you mentally, the fact that you coached in such tough markets before? Like, I'm not saying that that attention and that scrutiny doesn't get to you. I think it would only be human if it did. But with your background, do you think you're particularly equipped? Because if we're speaking honestly, objectively, this feels like a season with a lot of optimism, but a lot of pressure on it as well. Like, you can't have a repeat of what was happening in year 3. So how do you handle that element of the job, which can sometimes be unavoidable given the very public nature of coaching one of the most prominent programs in the sport?
Well, again, I don't really concern myself with the media that much. I'm
not even talking about the media. I'm talking about the fan investment and all that.
There are some fans that truly like the direction of where we're going. It's only 4 years that I've been in. They hadn't made the tournament in 6 previous years, and then we finally got them, into the tournament. So, it ain't just about making the tournament. It's about winning Big Ten titles and national titles. And that's the only reason why I came back. So expectations are high, and it should be that way. I'm good with that. So I can't worry about, I respect our fans. I respect the media, and we try to do the best we can from a coaching standpoint, but we're still early into this, I don't want nobody to panic. We're just 4 years in. And we still got a long way to go, and we're going to keep pushing our guys to get better. And I think we've made a nice run in the portal. Now we got to put it all together and make it work on the court.
Yeah, it was no doubt one of the biggest portal hauls of the entire offseason cycle. Indiana sets up as a clear-cut preseason top 25 team, one of the best teams in the Big Ten. Mike, can't wait to see what happens this season. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it.